Hey folks, welcome back to this edition of Nate's Notes, where we talk about the issues that we confront as parents trying to raise our children as followers of Jesus and give some resources and some wisdom in order to help us towards that end. Now, last time we talked about how to raise faithful exiles in digital Babylon. So we talked about this metaphor of digital Babylon being the world around us saturated by technology. And we're going to continue this week's one in the similar vein. We're going to talk about two different books. We're going to talk about The TechWise Family by Andy Crouch. And we're also going to talk about 12 Ways That Your Phone is Changing You by Tony Reinke. Now, both of these books have a lot to offer, but if you only got to read one of them, I would definitely suggest The TechWise Family. It gives a lot of great overarching views on how to accommodate technology in your lives and what the impact of that can be and what it should be in a gospel-centered home. Probably all of you, though, have faced some sort of pressure that one of these books would address. The pressure of realizing that technology is everywhere and you're always trying to keep up with it, but you're always falling behind, or you don't understand the apps that your kids are using, or why do they need the most latest and greatest iPhone, and but you kind of want the latest and greatest iPhone too. And it's this constant pressure that technology exerts on us. It promises that it's going to make our lives better, but most of the time it feels like it just adds more stress. Well, what we need to be thinking about as Christians is what is the proper place of technology in our lives generally so that we are benefited by it, because technology is a great thing. God created the world for us to use technology and to build things and to create, to make lives easier. But sometimes things that are made to make our lives easier end up making things worse for us. And a lot of times we just need some wisdom in how to apply this. So out of these two books, what I've done is I've distilled 3 principles that I want to leave you guys. 3 things that I want you to think about regarding technology, broadly speaking. And when I say technology, I'm not talking about your refrigerator and your freezer. Those are fine. What I'm talking about is more the high technology, the AI, the smartphones, the sort of the cloud stuff, and the social media aspect of our lives that really is more engrossing. That's what we're really talking about. So the first thing I want to leave you guys with and talk about is that technology itself is not mandatory. This should be like a nice release for a lot of us. You actually don't need most of the stuff that's offered out there, even if it could marginally increase, the betterment of your life or something like that. You don't need that sort of thing every time. You don't need to upgrade to the latest iPhone. You don't need your kids to upgrade to the latest version of the iPhone. You don't need that new smart TV and all these things, because you can actually enjoy a lot of the similar things with older products. Part of what technology does is it's always asking us to get the next greatest and latest thing. But really what we find is we can get by on much less. And when we do that, when we say no to constantly upgrading, constantly getting more, we're actually taking back some control that technology has exerted over us in our lives. So technology is not mandatory. That's the first one. The second one is that technology is a servant, not a ruler. Now, for some of us, that paradigm is flipped. Technology rules our lives. We spend all of our lives on computers or on cell phones or doing whatnot. Now, some of that's legitimate for work. We need computers to do things. We don't usually keep hard files of things anymore. We just can put it on our computers. We're dependent in that way. But that should be as a servant. That's our servant. It's carrying our baggage. It's carrying our files. It's carrying our important information. It's carrying our calendar. But that doesn't mean it rules our life. We have to be in control. We have to exert that control. And if we can't, in areas where we can't, maybe it's with our phones or whether it's with our TV, that's a place where we just simply need to say no. We need to come back to that first principle of technology is not mandatory. We need to realize that if we are being ruled by technology, unless we can reverse that, unless we can effectively flip that paradigm to where it's serving us and not the reverse, we need to simply say no to it. So that's the second one, is that technology is a servant, not a ruler. The third and final one is that technology is a tool, not a toy. A lot of us get gadgets and upgrades because it looks cool. It looks cool. It makes us feel cool. It makes us feel like we're on the cutting edge. I fall into this trap all the time. I think a new pair of headphones is going to make me songs sound better for something in my head. And I'm willing to put down like $100, $200 on some headphones. But that only ever marginally improves my life, if at all. And usually what I find is I'm just longing for the next product. This product doesn't satisfy me, so I want to move on to the next one. But if you view technology as a tool, what's useful, you'll actually find that it's much more in its proper place as a servant role, and that your hopes are not so much invested in it where you feel let down and you always feel you need to buy the next latest and greatest thing. That's the thing that you can be using to help your kids also to learn. You can say, hey, this MacBook is a tool, not a toy. And you can be showing them that you use it as a tool. This smartphone is a tool, not a toy. A lot of our kids are very much tempted to use their new little gadgets as toys. They would say that they're using them for productive things, but mostly it's to talk to their friends and to play games. You can be teaching and instilling this mindset of using it as a tool and not a toy. That's how all technology should be. So those are 3 quick things that I took out of these books. I do encourage you to read these books, but if you only had time to read one, read this one. The TechWise Family is very helpful in terms of framing an entire approach to ordering your family life around technology. You may not agree with everything in here. I'm not sure I did, but you will find yourself being very much helped by that. This concludes this edition of Nate's Notes. We'll see you guys next time.